Function has to be financing. I'm gonna get this. We can table it, but my mindset was, okay, we'll get off cheap. And it just became quite a lot.
Well,
if I can have 6 parents, if I have 2 teachers, 2 special educators that can co-teach,
Right.
that's a no-brainer.
and we,
Without a mistake.
I supervised 12 parents.
And how big's your school? Was it 300-400 kids?
Just over 20.
Okay, so it's smaller than Memorial.
Yeah.
But
That's easy to
Yeah.
follow. Or
But that's instead of giving us a teacher. Parents and then.
Yeah,
Instead of having somebody handle the space, handle Hence, nice that I don't.
Do you need me to write this all down? Okay.
He wasn't giving answers. I don't know what.
So we started.
Yeah, yeah, really, technically not orange.
the committee does not have a chair. That's why.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Especially when I get all the time. I'm too loud.
Okay.
Then it's just sort of.
So you
regular.
survey.
I got it.
Yes.
They're actually right here.
Well, you're gonna be happy now. So
Did you-
probably
But then we'll come share that later.
Yeah.
I'll be paying the price for this, if I know.
5:15 to 6:40.
So the reminder That's great.
Really, response
Yeah.
rate was on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good.
Great.
So yeah, here's what people are saying.
So my.
Like 5 minutes ago.
40 minutes ago.
I mean, I think it's point to have a conversation.
So can I just talk about it that, you know, this is kind of what we've come up with based on people's preferences. and everybody's okay with it.
Yeah, but realize the way I pay attention is.
Oh, you didn't put it, I didn't,
So
gotcha.
probably the smart.
Everybody has a kind of listed there except for Bill.
Did you sign in on the guest list?
No. Thank you.
All right, so let's do, oh. so
Huh? I don't know. No, they're signing in.
That was my first. What, budget? Oh, good. I know we need 3, but we'll start with that.
Sorry, I should have done some of these.
No, I mean.
Where were you?
Yes.
Especially on the outgoing.
Okay.
Negotiations.
How many things have they sent out to you? It's all set. It's all set. Oh, Pam, well, that's Pam.
We are.
But I don't even have Pam in here. Well, you get what you get.
Snooze, you lose.
You get what you get.
Yeah, but you were out of town then, and you missed like the crazy meeting.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, you know, the only problem with that is that's what a couple times I.
Oh, then I'm off.
But my evaluation, that's the easiest one for God's sakes. This is always sparkling.
It was so
Hopefully soon.
funny. So. So do they basically want to?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Any Road Island.
No, it won't be. NTA.
Right.
Like the one that
On board.
married.
You mentioned it,
They made a comment. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's a huge thing, but it just.
Right.
Every word.
But it was just, but it was.
Hey, did you sign in? Okay.
Okay, that's-
Yeah, I mean, Pam gets what she gets. She's not here. So I'm just plugging her in.
So you ready?
Yeah.
I call it.
You go, I was gonna say, let's just, you go, Joe.
All right, we're gonna call this meeting to order at 7:08 PM. If everybody could please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
to the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, per policy BDA, which is the school committee organizational meeting, which is this evening, I am calling this meeting on order, and our first piece of business is to allow for the election of a brand new chair, who then, once the chair is elected, will preside over the remainder of the meeting. So at this point, I will take a motion for a chair of the school committee for 2016-2017.
Make a motion to nominate Diane Beckett as chair.
Okay, so a motion by Tana, seconded by Lee. Per state law and per our policy, for chair and for vice chair, those have to be by roll call. those votes. So we will start with Phil.
Phil Desutter, aye.
Do I abstain or do
No,
I?
you vote. You can say
Oh,
nay
okay.
if you really want to.
It's your choice, Dan.
Diane Duncan, aye. Hannah Django, aye.
Lee Martin, I.
Okay, so by a vote of 5-0, congratulations, Madam Chair. The meeting is yours.
Thank you. Okay, so continuing right along, we need a nomination for a vice chair.
I nominate Tana Jango for vice chair.
Second.
Okay, is it the same thing,
Roll
roll call
call
vote
as
as
well.
well? So we'll do a roll call vote for vice chair.
Phil Desutter, aye.
Diane Duncan, aye.
Tana Jango, I. Lee Martin, I.
Okay, so by a vote of 5-0, Tana Jango is our new vice chair. Moving right along, could I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? Anything need to be moved? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the agenda is approved. Moving right along to approval of open session meeting minutes from May 9th, 2016. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the open session minutes of May 9th, 2016.
Second. Is there any discussion? Anything that needs to be changed? Everyone good with it all? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, so the open session minutes pass. We're moving right along to reorganization of the school committee. So we have a number of open positions: secretary, Taft Library trustee, Racine Fund representative, and assistant treasurer. So, so do we do this in the same fashion, Joe? that we're
Sure,
going
just
to-
a motion and a motion, a second, and then it can just be a conventional vote. It doesn't have to be.
It does not
roll
have
call.
to be a roll call vote. Okay, so our secretary in the past has been Dorothy. Do we have anybody with a burning desire?
And keep
to
in
be our
mind, for
new
secretary, your responsibilities essentially would be the minutes for executive
Executive
session. Because we have an
Excellent job.
outstanding job being done for open session.
Yes, thank you, Kevin. Does anybody want to do it? Dorothy, do you not want to do it?
I can do it again.
Are you sure? You don't have to. We're
We just
just,
need to be able to get a computer connected.
Yes.
you're okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so if somebody wants to make a motion,
I make a motion to nominate Dorothy Scally as secretary.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so Dorothy, you continue to be our secretary. Taft Library trustee must be from Mendon. So Lee's been our trustee in the past.
I would really like to continue being the trustee.
You
We're
would.
kinda in a position of transition right now, and I'd really like to help get them settled into the new building, work on policy, and continue the work that we've been doing, if that's, acceptable to you and Paige.
I'm fine with that. Okay, so we need to make a motion to continue.
Make a motion to continue with Lee Martin as trustee for the Taft Library.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Racine Fund representative, this person must be from Upton. Presently, it's Tana. Do we have any other, would you
I'm-
like to continue? or-
I'm okay to continue, or if Bill, you
It's
are
fine for
interested
you
in
to
that.
continue. You're in the groove, you're in the
I can
mode, you
continue
know
then.
all the people.
Okay, so
you know
Tana's
what-
gonna continue.
If you don't want to do it, I'm happy to do it, but you have no problem with everything. It's just easy.
Okay, so we just need a motion.
I make a motion for Tana Jacob to be the Racine Fund representative.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. There you go, Tana. Okay, so currently our assistant treasurer is Pam, and it would probably be helpful to keep Pam in this role. Is it okay to vote on her when she's not here?
If she rejects it, all right, we'll adjust it at the next meeting.
As I say in my background notes, it's helpful from a very pragmatic standpoint.
Yeah, because you don't have to
Yeah.
change the books.
She signed off on all the bank paperwork and so on.
Okay, so could we get a motion?
I make a motion for Pam Marchionette to be the assistant treasurer.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, so Pam continues as our assistant treasurer. Okay, so do the treasurer, school committee clerk, Blackstone Valley Educational Collaborative representative?
They technically have to be voted upon.
Okay, so each one individual. So right
Correct.
now, our treasurer is Joe Lakeview. Our clerk is Kelly. Our Blackstone Valley Educational Collaborative representative is you.
Yes.
Okay, so could I get a motion for treasurer?
Make a motion for Joe Lake to be treasurer.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, school committee clerk.
Motion. Make a motion for Kelly McElrath to serve as our school committee clerk.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Kelly. And for the Blackstone Valley Educational Collaborative representative.
Motion. Make a motion for Joe Marusha to be our Blackstone Valley Educational Collaborative representative. It's a mouthful.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So more business. We have 4 functioning school committee subcommittees that have to be appointed. Currently, right now, our budget subcommittee is Tana, Phil, and Lee. Policy is Pam, Lee, and Dorothy. Negotiations is Phil, Pam, and Diane. And superintendent's evaluation is Diane, Tana, and Dorothy. So I came up with the list based on submitting our preferences through the, is that a Google Doc?
Correct.
Yeah. So we can discuss this, but I'll just tell you what I came up with. So on budget would be Phil, Tana, and Pam. Superintendent evaluation would be Dorothy, Lee, and Diane. Policy would be Dorothy, Lee, and Tana. And negotiations would be Diane, Phil, and Pam. Do we have any discussion about this? Any, anybody not wanting one of those subcommittees, or is everybody pretty pleased with them in general? Okay, so do we do this collectively saying that, or
Yeah, you
to
could
pass the
vote
motion?
en masse for all 4.
So if you could read those again, because I did not write them
Okay,
down.
can I
as you
make
were
a
doing them.
No, I should take it from somebody else.
Here you go.
I make a motion that we align following committee participants in the following way. Budget will be Phil, Tana, and Pam. Superintendent evaluation will be Dorothy, Lee, and Diane. Policy will be Dorothy, Lee, and Tana. Negotiation will be Diane, Phil, and Pam.
Well, I think we'll discuss that in a second. Okay. So, second,
Second.
okay, since we've already discussed, all those in favor?
Aye.
So it passes. Additionally, there's one other subcommittee that we formed last year, actually last year, the Golden Apple Award Subcommittee. And right now, I believe we have Phil, Dorothy, and myself interested in serving on that. Are you okay with that,
Yes.
Tana, or would you like to serve on it?
No, I would like to serve on that.
Oh, you would like to serve on it. Do we always just have to have 3, Joe? Can you have more, or does it have to just be 3?
It could be anything that you guys want it to be.
Okay. So,
You know, I think the discussion would be, do you have a desire to make this a permanent standing committee? Or do you keep it technically as it is now, as an ad hoc committee? I
what are
think-
the benefits, or,
Right now, you're in a good place with having 4 standing committees. Just looking at it really simply from an equity standpoint, that 6 members of the committee, you each have 2 functioning
Mhm.
subcommittees. And by our school committee policy and by our charter, your subcommittees are 3 members. because it is not considered to be a standing committee, you have, and right now it's an ad hoc committee, you have flexibility. For example, you could say, okay, I want community representatives and I want parent representatives and 2 members of the school committee to be on Golden Apple.
Okay.
Or I want 4 members. You have that flexibility. Whereas our subcommittees that are standing subcommittees, we have it kind of set by policy, by a structure of having 3 members.
So I think it behooves us to keep it as an ad hoc.
For
committee.
now. And
Um,
maybe you have the conversation as it's something that's fairly well established, 2, 3, 4 years down the line, you turn it into a standing subcommittee.
Okay.
Would there be a disadvantage of having 4 committee members, or would there?
Anything that you can think of that stands out as that's not a good idea? I mean, because I do want to continue to involve parents from the community and citizens.
I think you're well served to do that.
Yeah. I definitely would like to do that. We do need to put that out there to make sure we're open about it. So if we do nothing, it stands as an ad hoc committee right now. Do we need to say exactly what it's going to look like? Do we
No,
need to?
as an ad hoc committee, you don't have to define standing rules for the 16-17 school year.
So
Okay.
it
Keep
would,
it,
it would be almost better probably to keep it ad hoc as we work through it. And
Okay.
then when the timing comes up, to kind of form it based on what might be there.
Okay.
And while I'd love to participate, I also don't know exactly when the timing comes up.
If you'll be able to
I'll be around.
participate.
So
So should
it
I
would
be
be
a
a-
sub person in your absence, or have the 4
Well,
committee members
I
on
think,
board?
I think the point is you don't have to,
You don't have to
necessarily
designate it.
define and designate at this
Okay.
point. When we start the process, then you can go and designate, you can designate who from the parents and all of that. You can
Right.
designate all of that.
So I am interested.
Okay, so that's just good to know. So, because we're going to be convening shortly, right? What do we have till the end of this week for nominations or
it closes on Friday the 10th.
Friday?
Yep.
Okay, so we don't actually have to do anything. We're just going to continue as an ad hoc committee for Golden Apple then?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so I feel like we're finished our reorganization and our subcommittees. Correct? Any community comments? Anybody from the public wish to say anything or have a question or? No? Okay. Moving right along to superintendent comments.
Okay. First off, I'd like to start with something that's very positive, very happy. I think it's a snapshot on the quality of our schools, the quality of our kids, and the community in general. I know that this is something that's very much made its way around social media. Okay, here we go. But we had 165 students graduate from Nipmuc on Friday. And the day before, right before our award ceremony at Nipmuc, we started a new tradition known as the Senior Walk, where our graduating seniors kind of went back to their old stomping grounds. They went to Clough, Memorial, and Misco, and actually walked the halls and were recognized by their younger peers. So I just thought I'd show a very quick 40-second snippet of what it looked like when they started at Clough. So that's just a really quick snapshot. very, very positive, very upbeat, very emotional for our graduates, for the little guys, giving high fives with the teachers, kind of seeing their old students. So very, very nice. I want to publicly thank Diane, who found it and kind of gave me a
Innocently
jingle
posted it.
on my page on a Sunday morning after I came back from my long
I just
run.
thought it was
Like, what is
great.
this? But Diane bringing it to my attention 3-4 weeks ago, but then John Clements and Marion Moran from the high school, but also Kate Reardon, who's the senior advisor this year, really putting this together in short order. Again, it's very rare that you get such positive response and such goodwill from everyone. And this is something that just worked really well. And we're really looking forward to continuing this tradition from year to year. Second,
Can I just say, my daughter was very hesitant. She's a graduate. She was very hesitant about doing it. And her text to me at 12:39 that day was, "That was so cute." But, so it was very well received by all the seniors.
I
They
think the
loved it.
teachers really enjoyed it too. Like, I
Yeah.
think there were so many different parties that really just got good, positive, feedback from it. The
Right.
teachers, the students, the older students, the younger students, the administration. I think it just was a great feel-good moment. And it really does pay tribute to where these kids came from.
Well, this class, I know my daughter's first grade was the first grade in Memorial School. So they opened the brand new school.
Yeah, that's right.
So it was almost kind of fitting that it was the first year that they went back to those schools to walk the hallways.
Yeah.
and at Memorial, you had some of the little kids who actually made signs for them. And
Aw.
seeing the, first and second graders high-fiving kids and, the teachers, with big hugs for the graduates. I
Very
mean, it was-
impactful.
Yeah,
Very
very
impactful.
very moving. So delighted to have that as a new Mendon-Upton tradition.
Thank you for initiating it.
So secondly, I just want to kind of publicly put out a reminder to really all stakeholders, but particularly to our parents. We are a little bit over the halfway point of our school quality survey through K-12 Insight. So I know over a week ago, I put out an email to parents saying, hey, be on the lookout for an email from K-12 Insight, who's doing the surveying for us. So that has gone out. I sent out a reminder first thing this morning with a link to the actual survey. If you go to our website, mursd.org, there's a live link on that. So you can kind of see the trend. We're up to 636 of our parents have responded out of 1404. So that kind of corresponds to about a 32% response rate, which isn't horrible, but we'd like to do a little bit better. K-12 Insight, the reason that they like to have individual parent emails is it has a mechanism so that, and it's the same thing for our staff, that if you haven't responded to the survey, it kind of tortures you every 5 days with a reminder email. So you can kind of, if you look at this bar graph trend, you can see when the reminder emails went out.
That's funny.
Surprise, surprise. And this was good. I mean, at the end of yesterday, you could see people obviously enjoyed the weekend. 4 responses on Saturday, 3 responses on Sunday. But today it shot up to 109 people responded.
Which is great.
So it closes at midnight on Friday. So just to kind of, again, we'll send out more reminders, but if you haven't responded, please do so. It probably takes no more than 10 minutes to respond to the survey, and it's really important that you get all stakeholders' feedback. We're at about 55% response rate for our staff members and about 85% response for our kids. Okay?
It's great.
Next, we have, I just feel it's important to give an update with regard to where we are with next year's budget, the FY17 budget. We've got good news, but also some challenges, and the good news and the challenges, at least from a financial standpoint, offset each other. Okay, I'll start with the good news. We did markedly better right now in the budget process through the House and the Senate than we used in the governor's budget. If you recall, when the budget was certified back in March, we used the governor's budget. And then in April comes out the House budget, and then in May came out the Senate budget. So with regard to the Senate budget, you've got two major drivers. First, you have an increase in Chapter 70 of about an additional $77,000. The Senate and the House budgets provided an additional $55 per student over FY16, whereas the governor's budget was only an additional $20 per student. So there's that additional $77,000. The Senate budget, at least the initial Senate Ways and Means budget, provided an additional $71,000 in regional transportation, which is approximately at about the 70% reimbursement rate. And then kind of a recalculation of our net charter expenses in the district's favor of about $81,000. So the sum total right now through the Senate Ways and Means budget is about an additional $230,298 above what was certified. So that's great news. However, the challenges are some of the expenses. I know over the last couple of meetings, I've kind of provided updates of where we are with regard to health insurance. Our initial renewal rate that was quoted to us was 19.59%. So we've kind of, myself and Jay have kind of gone back and forth with Harvard Pilgrim Health. We've locked in at FY17 at 15%, which is better than the 19.59. It's still high. Realize we've kind of done our due diligence in the sense that we've gotten quotes from all of the other four major carriers. The 15% honestly was the absolute best that we could do based upon our claim history for FY16. Very, very challenging. So that 15%, keep in mind the certified budget, we were banking on a 10% increase. That additional 5% represents about $189,000 above what we budgeted. Another big expense that we did not anticipate were the amount of students choosing to enroll at Norfolk Aggie. I believe we budgeted for 4, Jay.
Budgeted for 7.
Budgeted for 7, and we're looking at 10.
Right, we had 3 graduates, which brought us down to 4. I left the 3 graduates, I left money in for those 3. Thinking maybe we'd have 3 more. We had
6 more.
6 more.
So that expense for those 3 additional students is $72,000 between their tuition and transportation.
So are those 6 more students all freshmen?
8th graders going into freshman.
I think one of them might be a sophomore this year.
Okay.
I'm not sure where that student was freshman year.
So between those 2 expenses, you're talking about something in the ballpark of about $260,000, which kind of offsets the increase of $230,000 in additional state aid. So it's very, very close to a wash. I gave you a document called Teeing Up the Differences, which kind of systematically, big picture, goes through the differences between the House budget and the Senate budget. The good news moving forward, FY18 and beyond, the Senate budget does very much commit to the Foundation Budget Review Commission recommendations. So in the event that we would be looking at FY18 and beyond with that additional $55 per student, that would serve the district very well. However, there's still a lot of variables. You know, if you followed what's going on with the state budget with the Globe, right now with 1 month left to go, they're about 300 million below projections as far as revenue. So I think there's still a lot of variables, you know, as you know, the favorite few words, subject to appropriation. So there's still a lot of variables, but I think right now we're kind of at status quo as far as that additional resources that we could be looking at above what was certified versus some of the expenses that we've gotten. Okay. Any questions on any of that? Okay. And then, but last but not least, you should have in your packet our year-to-date FY16 expenditure report. Jay, is there any lines that you kind of want to highlight?
No, nothing specific to highlight that's in there. The only thing I did notice based on the report, the warrant that you're signing tonight it doesn't show up on that report till after she actually puts it through today. So, you know, we're down to about $1.5 million left at this point, with 4 weeks to go. We easily have a lot more bills to come through in the next 6 to 8 weeks that will be charged against that, but I'm fairly confident that we're gonna finish in a good position in the end.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, so moving on to subcommittee updates. Doing a first read of policy KF-R, school facility use regulations, and then new policy EFD, charge and collection of payment for school meals. Lee and Dorothy, is there anything you want to share with us about these?
Let's see. Well, policy KFR is a revision of an existing policy. We are trying, initially upon Jay's recommendation, we're trying to bring the facility use fees kind of more in line and more appropriate to comparable districts. There was an extra category that really didn't need to be there that was removed. There was also some, we reviewed kind of the procedure for security deposit type of thing in case of, you know, being a little more proactive about that. And additionally, I think there was some language that was tightened up around having a staff member run IT equipment and that type of thing as well. So I believe those are the major highlights. Jay, is there anything else that I didn't address?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. The policy hasn't really changed with the exception of eliminating group 4 and adjusting the fees to get them more in line with what other districts are charging. Our fees, quite frankly, were bordering on outrageous.
Okay.
Yeah, they were fairly exorbitant.
I think
Okay.
we had people not using our facilities because
Because
they
of
could
the
go
rates.
somewhere else at
Right.
half the cost. So we tried to get I did a survey, we tried to get the fees in line with other districts.
Okay. Okay, so we'll be revisiting that for a vote later on.
And policy EFD is a new policy that I think had been addressed earlier in our school committee meeting earlier, a few weeks ago, I believe. In that we need to look at what's appropriate in terms of students having an outstanding balance in terms of the school lunch accounts. So there was no policy that existed, and we did need to have something, you know, because there are kind of significant losses that we're incurring. So without this language, you know, makes it a little bit of a gray area. So this, you know, is a fairly comprehensive policy. I haven't read through it, but I think it handles things sensitively where students will not be stigmatized if they're carrying a balance,
Yeah,
but at the
and they'll
same
still
time.
be able to get a lunch.
Yeah.
Right, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, in the free and reduced lunch, students will still remain in the position that they're in, but it will help the district collect the revenue that's owed to us in a reasonable, responsible manner, and allows the, the food service director to kind of, and Jay to communicate clearly with parents, just in case it's an oversight and that kind of thing. We have a protocol in place now, which doesn't exist, at the current time with when this policy is enacted, if we choose to do so.
Do you mind me asking where you guys came up with how did you make the decision about how overdrawn you could be? I think it's $30, you can go $30 in the hole. I'm just wondering where you came up with that figure,
I think we figured it was about 2 weeks,
about 2
Right,
weeks of lunch.
yeah.
on regular prices.
So an opportunity to collect, it gives you, okay,
Right.
I was just curious.
We tried to look at 2 weeks for both that and for the free and reduced as well. It's kind of harder on free and reduced, we were only paying 40 cents.
Right.
Not the free, but the reduced, obviously the free is not an issue. Part of this came about because the audit that was done, the one thing that we have not done in the past that we're supposed to be doing is at the end of every fiscal year, if you have negative balances, we're supposed to zero them out and pay them off. So this year, we're looking at about $4,500 that we're gonna have to cover. I will be creating a line item in the budget for next year and funding it at about $5,000 or $6,000 because
To account for this.
just to account for this in the future. Now, we will always continue to try to collect that money, but on the bookkeeping side, we're supposed to wipe it out. So we needed some kind of leverage to try and encourage parents to keep up to date on these accounts with it without depriving kids of lunch or stigmatizing them.
Right.
It's typically not the kid's fault if the lunch account is overdrawn.
I was just curious. Okay, and so we'll be voting on that later as well,
On the 20th, yeah.
on the 20th. Okay. New business. We never took a formal vote for the increased lunch prices for 2016-17, which I believe is increasing by a dime.
From
So
275 to
285.
285, starting next year.
And milk is staying the same?
I honestly have no idea how much milk costs. I
50
think,
cents.
isn't it part of the lunch?
No,
Well, it
it's-
does
You buy it
come,
separately.
it does come with your lunch if you
Okay.
buy a lunch, but if you were buying a milk to supplement your lunch from home, it's 50 cents.
We did not address that. It used to be a nickel when I went to school, so 10 cents for 2 chocolate milks, that's what I remember.
Wow, that's good.
Just as background, and I know we covered this over the last couple of meetings. Realized the last time lunch prices went up was in 2010. They went from $2.50 to $2.75. And as when Jay gave his presentation back in April, the heart of the matter is really the dime is to keep up with inflation, but also to keep up with the reimbursement rates that we get from the feds. So right now, we get a reimbursement rate of $2.93 for every lunch, which is, by a factor of 18 cents more than we're actually charging. So the 10 cents kind of brings it closer in line to the reimbursement rate. And Jay, your cost analysis, this will pretty much put us in a good place for 4 years.
5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So I think that's fairly reasonable.
Right, and we're also gonna try to do a much stronger job at the end of this year and the beginning of next year in encouraging people to fill out the free and reduced application, even if you don't think you qualify, because ironically, we actually do better if people are on free and reduced than if they're not. So if people are eligible, they should take advantage of it, because it's to their benefit and it's to our benefit as well. We can't require people to fill it out, but we're gonna try and encourage people, even if you don't wanna give any information, fill it out and just put not interested on it or something, just to encourage people to get in the habit of filling that application out every year.
And it's based on household income,
Yes. Household income and number of
number of
individuals,
students.
no, not students, family members, so
Family.
mother, father, 3 children, then it's a house of 5. And then they
Okay.
have a chart
Oh,
that gives
okay, I hear
you, basically you qualify for free or reduced depending on where your income falls in those areas.
Okay, so, could I get a motion to vote on our new, lunch price increase?
Make a motion to raise the lunch price to $2.85.
Second.
Okay, any discussion, more discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so it passes. And then, Joe, I'll hand it over to you for announcement of school choice openings for 16-17.
Okay, so just per our school committee policy, policy JFBB on school choice, and also Mass General Law, Chapter 76, Section 12B. Here is a public sharing of what we have for openings with regard to school choice. And what I'll do is I will rattle them off by school and then grade level for each school. So at Clough Elementary School in kindergarten, we will have 5 openings for kindergarten and 5 openings for Spanish immersion kindergarten. And in grades 1 through 4, 0 openings. At Memorial, we have 5 openings for kindergarten, 0 openings for Spanish immersion kindergarten, and also no openings in grades 1 through 4. At Misco Hill for grade 5, we have 15 openings. In grade 6, we have 9 openings. In grade 7, we have 6 openings. And in grade 8, we have 4 openings. At Nipmuc Regional High School, we have 12 openings for grade 9, 5 openings for grade 10, 5 openings for grade 11, and 0 openings for grade 12. As we've done in years past, should these change as far as our enrollments, because there usually is some movement, what we will do is at our meeting of August 22nd, I'll publicly announce any changes to that. Okay.
Okay.
So, quick question. I know probably in August you'll also have the numbers more definitive in terms of the 8th to 9th grade transition.
Mhm.
And how many students went to different locations. But how is that looking in compared to years past?
I think it looks very, very stable as to comparing 2015 to 2016.
Okay.
I anticipate we'll probably have a freshman class of approximately 160 to 170 students.
Okay.
Okay, any correspondences? No. Any other matters not anticipated by the committee within 48 hours of the first meeting? None? Okay, so our future agenda items on June 20th are approval of the Mersey Technology Plan as well as the Golden Apple Award.
Survey,
A nomination?
that in the, our open forum next week, right?
Yes, which is, I actually have to pull it up to see the date, I believe it's the 15th, June 15th. We're gonna be having a meeting at the Upton Town Hall at 6:30, from 6:30 to 8 on the ground level, where members of the public from Mendon-Upton are all welcome to join us, and we're gonna have kind of an open forum. We'll have a little agenda to follow, but all are welcome, and we hope people will come and participate. So,
June 15th?
June 15th, from 6:30 to 8 at the Upton Town Hall. We're gonna try to alternate between communities, and we're also gonna try to alternate like a nighttime meeting with a daytime meeting as well. So we can try to accommodate different towns as well as different schedules. And our hope is to have at least 3 school committee representatives. Sometimes there may be more, if people are available. And then Golden Apple nominations are through the end of this week, right? Through Friday.
Also through Friday. If
Just
you-
like the school satisfaction surveys. So Friday's a big day.
If you
for
also go to our
nominating
website,
surveys.
MURSD, it's right on the cover,
Mhm.
and you just click on the link and boom,
There it is.
there it is.
And if you've submitted an nomination from the prior period, there is, Joe added in a quick, I would like to submit my prior nomination. And then it's a quick, here's my name, here's my nomination, and you're done for the day. So just want to add that in. So it doesn't have to be rewriting everything that you wrote the first time. So I think that's it. I think we've covered everything, so I guess we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, meeting adjourned at 7:49. Right, 7:49?
Nice
That
job.
is mad crazy.
Oh, you know, it is what it is.
Ready to get back into that swimming in Alvin Festival Project. Yeah. Oh, the boys out of the yard. Yeah, see.
We already have this.
I came over here to swim in my sea.
The 10 minutes better than I would have been like, oh, all right, I should probably like.
No, I get how it was.
We changed like, we like changed right over this.
Oh, it's been.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Hey, Maureen, I did hear from Lori.
You did great.
Was.
You did
Somebody
so
called and messaged you for it. Apparently they have a